Welcome to The Sky's the Limit. I'm Larry Rodriguez, and I'm joined here with Ron Roberts, Chief Meteorologist on KAMC, AMS seal holder. What does AMS mean, Ron?
American Meteorological Society. You have to be, a member of that to get a seal of 792, which means meet the credentials for being a meteorologist, a broadcast meteorologist.
All right, and let's talk about the name first. The Sky's the Limit. Why did we choose that name? Well, we chose that name because it leaves it open for us to talk a little bit more about not just, the specific weather. We can talk a little bit more about what is going on in the sky in Lubbock and maybe across the country.
Well, and there's a lot going on.
Yes, there is.
So I'll let you direct which one we're going to start with. But my goodness, what a year 2025 has been.
Yes, it has. It's been a crazy year so far. And we are only in August. And if we can look at the climatology for this year so far, we can see that it does seem that it's been a little bit crazy, but we're really kind of average right now. I mean, we've had 100 days. As of today, we probably will have 11, but we've had 10 days of 100-degree weather.
Right. And yes, we will have 11 and probably 12 somewhere there stuck in September or even October. Mm-hmm. It's not unusual for us to have 100-degree days ahead of a cold front or whatever. The pressure gradient goes boom and you've got 100 degrees. Yeah.
Yes. And then the rainfall, we've seen plenty of rain this year. So we've had at least 13 inches of rain so far, and the average is 18 and a half.
But, the reality about West Texas precipitation is that Preston Smith International Airport may have that kind of precipitation, 13 inches or so. But then you go down to Brownfield, and I have, and you talk to ag producers, and I have, and they're like, we've only had 9 inches because they are really watching their stuff. You go down to Seminole and you go west of Seminole, Seagraves, and that area, and they have about 7 inches. They're like, hey, we're dying down here. So the semi-arid climate, I tend to think of it this way: arid, semi-arid climate, and then when we have an El Nino year, game on.
Yes. And we still have some time left in the later half of the year, but we've already seen 2.5 inches of snow here in Lubbock, and some of that was later in April, and that was a little unexpected for some of us around here.
Well, it seems to me, and I don't have complete data to back this up, except that I know that on the 30-year climate averages, that our snow season is becoming less and less. We used to average maybe 12 inches or so of snow, and now we're down below 7 inches on average. And so that's one of the big deals, is that our snow average is going down. However, our annual precipitation has not changed. So we know that it's liquid. So January is still doing its thing. Mm-hmm. And it's just, so far, the average precipitation has not really moved on the needle.
Yep, it doesn't seem that way, though, with all the precipitation we've seen lately. And then finally, the last little box right there is the daily highs. So far, again, today is going to be another hot day, but so far we've reached 105 as the highest for the highs, and the lowest low that we saw this year so far has been 6 degrees. That was back in January, so we still have a little bit more to go, so that can change as we go later on into the year.
Well, one of the things I'm concerned about is that when you're in a neutral phase, you can get tropical storms forming near the Baja region, and when you have that kind of water so warm, the Baja, you get yourself a tropical storm, and then we get a Hurricane Larry. And I don't know the names yet. They're out. I just haven't looked at them yet. But you get the hurricane, and somehow it gets entrained into the jet stream, and guess what? We get 3.5 inches, 4 inches of precipitation, rain, thunderstorms, just like that. So, we're still an open country.
Mm-hmm. So let's kind of break down those events that kind of happened throughout the year. We start off in January. It was cold again. We reached that low of 6 degrees. We had a couple of days that were pretty cool in the nighttime. I think we went to 6, 5, and then maybe even 8 degrees in early January. But we didn't really see too much snow in January.
No, we didn't. It was a dry start. And really, when you look back at it, you can go back into December and November, and you could see a bit of a dry period. But again, there are significant oscillations like the La Nina, which tends to dry us out and cool us off, but at the same time also do the opposite in the summer. It can be very hot with a La Nina year. El Nino tends to bring us more precipitation, maybe still hot days, maybe snow. In fact, our biggest snow event, 1983. That was an El Nino year.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I was working at a radio station as a DJ with dark chocolate hair and not this stuff. And I had more hair. And the reality is we had to use the old first Broncos. You remember those things?
Yes, I do.
Those things were tanks.
Yes.
Those things are 22 feet wide, it seemed. That's the only way we could get to work. That's 1983. That was the El Nino year. So, it's hard to, when people say, hey, it's El Nino, it's going to be, really rainy, snowy. No, it could be nothing.
Yeah.
And that's can happen. And this year we were in officially a climate neutral phase, which means it should be average.
Mm-hmm. And then we went into February, March, kind of warmed up a little bit, but again, we still didn't see very much snow. Nope. Then we get to April, the beginning of April, and it snowed all day long.
It did. and the thing is, it was a really good snow, too, because it was big old flakes. It wasn't the dry snow. It was the wet snow. Hit the ground, melted, didn't do much. The grass, maybe some accumulation and stuff. But then within 2 days, we were back in the 70s and off to the gun.
Yes, we were.
We were going.
And then in the next month, in May, we had our first 100-degree day. So, again, we just went right up into that.
Yeah, 100-degree days, but guess what happened after that? More coming up.
Well, welcome back to The Sky's the Limit. I'm Larry Rodriguez, KMAC forecaster for the weekends, and I'm joined here with Chief Meteorologist on KMAC, Ron Roberts.
Glad to be here, Larry,
Yeah.
and glad that you're a part of the team.
Thank you.
You might want to tell people what your schedule is and what you do.
Well, normally I do the weekends. So during the week, I actually still work in the newsroom. I am a photojournalist, so I go out and get video of stuff during the week. And then on the weekends, I'm a KMAC forecaster. So I deliver the forecast on the weekends. So I kind of do a little bit of both. I still work in the newsroom, but then again, on the weekends, I deliver the forecast.
And I love it because the reality is we get really great video during severe weather. Larry can go out and do some of the storm spotting. We don't call it storm chasing. That's what other people do, to kind of try to get wacky a little bit. Out there. And no, we don't chase storms. We spot storms, and then we analyze storms. And Larry did a really good job with that this past year.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And where we left off last, we were talking about the snow in April and how that was real late in the season and how it kind of caught us off guard. I mean, it caught me off guard, and I knew it was coming.
Right. The forecast models picked up on it, but sometimes you look at the forecast models and you're going, yeah, look at that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, all day.
All day. And the only reason that it was not a major issue is that air temperature. And this is what people were freaking out. The air temperature was 33 degrees, 34 degrees. It was snowing. And they're like, it's not 32 degrees. Well, it doesn't have to be 32 degrees. It has to be 32 degrees about,
not at the surface.
At 800 feet, 1,000 feet, it's got to be 32 degrees there, but not at the ground. And that's what happens sometimes. But do you want me to tell you when I was a little boy story?
Go right ahead.
We had March, April snow, back in the 70s and 60s when I was growing up, I mean, it was not unusual to see 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. In fact, I didn't like it because as a kid, it seemed like it always would happen, with the big spring break. What spring break? we got to stay in the house because it's snowing, except we went out and played in it, of course.
Yeah. And then after that, we went into May and June, and that is the beginning of storm season. And we had a very active severe weather season this year. Looking at this video right now, we saw a tornado near Clovis.
What really made that storm, amazing is that it was a supercell thunderstorm, but it was in an area of not strong shear, so it didn't move too much, thank goodness. So luckily, that also was outside of Clovis. So had that storm impacted the city of Clovis, there would have been a different outcome with that.
Yes, and we actually watched that live develop the funnel cloud, and it dropped down, and then it went back. We saw the whole life cycle of that tornado.
We did.
Our Skycam.
Your eye picked it up, and I went, yeah, hey, it's a tornado, because you're seeing the ground debris there, and they dodged a bullet, but we dodged more than one bullet.
Yes, we did, because even later on that month into early June, we had that big severe storm that came through Lubbock. You can see that's damaged from the hailstorm that went through, and we had a close call with a tornado on the west side of town.
We did, and the reality is, that thunderstorm formed near Littlefield. Now, what was really cool is the Skycam network that we have did its job. We could see the tornado genesis. We knew it was going to hit. And we were on the air live, and I said, this one's about to hit. Oh, okay, there's the dust cloud. Oh, boom, there it is. And so we knew it. And that storm, even though the flow was going from west to east, this storm started turning to the right. When we see storms, in other words, coming toward Lubbock, when you see those kind of storms turning to the right, that means the whole supercell thunderstorm is rotating, just like this. And that's how it got down to our region. Luckily, not with tornado, but we had some other friends we didn't want, and that was hail.
Yes, very large hail. I mean, again, I work in the newsroom also, so I was sent out to go cover the damage that happened from that hailstorm, and there was plenty of windows that were taken out in Wolfforth. Obviously, those signs on the South Loop were taken out from the high winds that we also had, and there was, it was crazy.
And boy, Levelland almost got it again.
Yes.
2 straight years. 2 years ago, you and I went to Levelland.
Yes, we did.
That big, it was either a microburst, and I think it was, that damaged Levelland, and we both were amazed at a McDonald's sign with, I don't know how big. How big was that?
It was pretty big. And
it was bent over.
Yeah.
It's steel.
Yeah,
right?
It was hanging on.
Right. So Levelland has been, it really did a lot of damage there. So the reality is it doesn't have to be a tornado.
No, it does not.
If you get a dry microburst, a microburst just means a small area of strong wind, maybe at 100 miles per hour, maybe even higher. We don't know because we don't have any anemometers or, in there getting the data real time. But it's significant damage. And then it comes again.
Yes, it does.
So it's been a crazy pattern for sure.
And staying on that storm that happened on the west side of town, because that did impact the metro very significantly. That was the first time, as I recall, since 2021 that we had a tornado warning in the city of Lubbock.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that 2021, the age of COVID, we're on the blue wall, and I don't know how long I was there, but the reality is that one too was moving, but it kept spinning and going a little further south and a little further south, and so we again dodged a bullet. But there it is. You could see the storm, you could see the rotation, you could see the funnels that would go down and then it'd go back up. So we have really had some fortunate bounces go our way.
And that just goes to show that just because the big tornado in 1970 happened over 50 years ago does not mean that Lubbock is not still immune to those big significant thunderstorms and tornadoes.
Well, I would just insert here one comment. 1970, Lubbock population was about 145,000 people. This is not a 145,000 people, my friend.
Not in the slightest.
Now, the metro Lubbock area is well over 300,000 people, and the city is growing at such a rate. Take, for example, down Slide Road. You go down Slide Road, you go all the way down into northern Lynn County.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you seeing? Development. So Lubbock is a bigger target now in an area of Texas where tornadoes, small, can get in and get into a neighborhood. Okay, well there goes your windows, there goes your car, there goes damage. So we are, the metropolitan Lubbock area is now setting itself up.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And Lubbock, Wichita Falls, I did the Wichita Falls tornado when I was younger, and I went there just hours after it hit. And that tornado devastated Wichita Falls, a community in northwest North Texas. And it's that community has still not fully recovered from that tornado. So kudos to leadership in Lubbock to say no, 1970 tornado, no, we're gonna bounce back, and we did.
We did.
So it's just every community has that that inner circle, and in our case, Lubbock's inner circle is that we want to be a growing metropolis versus we don't want any growth or whatever. This city is something else.
Yes, it is, and on a personal level, I just want to commend everyone in the city of Lubbock because we did do a good job that day. Our team did a good job, and the citizens of Lubbock. I heard a lot of people, they took shelter in their storm shelters. They were off the roads. They stayed home. They understood the significance of the storm that was coming, and no one was injured.
And we have really good media coverage, and I'm not one. Because I'm my favorite meteorologist, but nevertheless,
Me too.
But really, all of us in the media here understand the danger of severe weather and work together, whether it be across town or whether it be across the hall on CBS with our colleagues there. So the reality is that Lubbock is well served in the media.
Yes, it is.
I just one snippet.
What's that?
I was there in 1970. I was a kid. I was 12 years old. I watched the storm blow up that destroyed downtown Lubbock, and it was just. To this day, it's still, I can almost just visually see everything that happened, and going downtown the next day and seeing the destruction. And then you and I went downtown together and looked at the Metro Tower, as they call it, is twisted. And I think that's a great symbol for Lubbock that, okay, yeah, we did get hit, but we came back, and we're, I think, stronger than ever.
Yes, we are, and we still got more to talk about. We'll come back in just a few minutes.
And now we're going to talk, Larry, about the situation in Ruidoso.
Yes.
This is unbelievable, the damage by water. And my wife and I did go to Ruidoso to see this catastrophic damage to the point where the first flood, significant damage, but they still had the Ruidoso Downs ready to go. The night before they are going to do their first runs, guess what? Another flood comes down that same river that you're looking at right there, that you're looking at. And my wife and I went to Ruidoso just about a week after this. And so that same creek has been the one that's been flooding Ruidoso, and they had to shut down the entire derby at the Downs. So, you know, it didn't have any fatalities per se, but the city and the community and they call it the village of Ruidoso has been incredibly negatively impacted by this weather. So that's another thing about the climate and some of the things that the climate is doing to us now. The atmosphere able to hold more water, and I can't think of any example more than Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Exactly, because that didn't just happen the one time.
Right.
It happened twice, 3 times, and I think 4 times.
Right.
So yeah.
And again, it went down the same burn scar because the year before was the fire, right?
Yes.
So we had a fire that went all the way down, close to Midtown. Of course, they kept that under control, but nevertheless, when you have a burn scar in the mountains, you don't have any vegetation. And that's what my wife and I saw when we went to Rio del Sol was that vegetation. There was no vegetation. And so it's rocks and dirt. And so that water is going straight down that little creek. And boy, this video right here, I mean, you know, now people in Rio del Sol don't want to see that anymore. It really has impacted their community.
Yes, it has. And again, I work in the newsroom, so I went last year when they had those wildfires, and I saw that. I didn't see the flooding part, but I did see the wildfire part.
Yeah, and that is something too. I mean, you go from a fire damaging homes, damaging businesses, and then the next thing you know, I guess the shoot-off of that was that creek had no vegetation. Again, heavy rainfall, not once, not twice, 3 times that did the damage. And also, it's going to take, I believe it's going to be a few years before they're going to be able to get that economic system back in the Ruidoso area.
Yes, and so we are still in August, or we just begin August, and it's been 100 degrees for the last few days.
Yeah.
And we are going to get a little slight cool down. That's on the way. But what does the rest of the year look like, in your opinion?
Well, it's kind of hard because again, we don't have a large scale, oscillation, El Nino, La Nina. We don't have that. So I'm thinking that we're going to continue to be very warm and this hot spell that we've got into now. Okay, so we have a front coming through just early next week, and we'll have a slight chance for thunderstorms and rain chances. But I think that whatever mechanism that was making this year work, I think it is unwinding a little bit, and we're going to start seeing us a little bit more moving into what is. Oh, I cannot say this word. This is you're going to have to. This is going to have to be deleted. Normal weather, because weather and climate is never anything called normal.
Well, it doesn't seem normal this year, but as we saw in the beginning, it's pretty normal for what we normally see this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about August, many years is the time when you have one or two things. Either you have 3 inches of rain, thunderstorms, flooding, that kind of thing. Ag producers can't stand it because their cotton is looking good. They don't want that. Or it is dry and 102, 102, 102. And so far, we're starting off with 102, 102, 102.
Yes, we are. Nothing like 2011, though.
No, 2011 is the driest year in Lubbock recorded history. And we would have only maybe 1.5 inches of rain or precipitation for that year had it not been for a December snow event. Other than that, we were not in good shape for sure.
No, I remember that year like it was yesterday.
Yes, and so again, our climate is extreme. It goes from one to the other. And my thoughts about this is the challenging climate that we're in now, not just here, but globally, is something that humans are going to adapt to, and we'll make some mitigations to get over it. But nevertheless, it's going to be a very interesting ride as far as forecasting and climate is because it's just more difficult to do our job, but a job we both love.
Well, yep, we do, and we love it so much that we ran out of time. Can you believe that? So we got to say goodbye, and we'll come back next time. What do you always say, Ron?
Keep it there. We'll keep you advised.